She's April.
And she's Molly.
And we are
the Book Besties.
I actually wrote a little thing.
We hit a DNF, guys, and we actually did DNF it.
Why am I this way?
Thomas, I can still hear your crap.
I go in the quiver, I get shot, I hit the target.
There's more information than porn. That's all I'm saying.
Tom does better than that. The Book Besties.
The Book Besties. Should we be like NPR? We are the Book Besties. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to today's episode of the Book Besties. I am Molly Biggs, and my co-host is April Biggs. April Watkins.
I love you, but we're not. That's not. No.
That's not how any of this works. Hi, guys! I feel like it's been forever, and it hasn't.
It hasn't.
The summer's really long, and it's June.
Oh, yeah. So James graduated from elementary school.
I know. I saw the pictures, and Piper graduated 8th grade.
I cried like a baby.
I did at home. I had all the feelings at home.
I have watched the video that Tom took of like his principal announcing like all his words. I've lost count of how many times I've watched it. Like whenever I've had a moment where I've just been like, oh, I feel a little bummed, I just like pull out my phone and I'm like rewatching the video.
He's getting so big and he's doing the big boy things and he's a grown.
This year. He got a perfect score on one of his standard tests, and I mean,
so awesome. He's
passed advanced one of them, and then
it's awesome.
Passed the other one. I mean, he just did fantastic this year.
He's a little rock star. I mean, that's freaking Piper Addy. You know, they went from home. My girls went from homeschooling, to like just kicking ass this year.
This is the first year they've been in school since 2019. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, Liv joined cheer this year. Let's talk about how big that is. Livy joined cheer this year.
I know. That's crazy.
That's fucking huge.
I love that.
I'm so proud of our kiddos because they've come out of their shells in so many ways this year. And we just got to survive the summer now, you and me. Yeah. So, Tater, I mean, I'm so proud of our 4 little gang. They just...
And your kid didn't even just do cheerleading. She did, like, the basketball thing. And like
she did. Livy did the teachers versus students basketball. Like the whole school went out to see her this year.
It's so crazy to me because like I've known your kids since they were born. I mean,
vice versa.
You've known my kids since they were born, although you only met Sam for the first time a few months ago. But
that's okay. Sammy Cakes and I his heart and mine are the same. We got that little ADHD just going, you know?
I was talking to my other best friend, Dawn, the other day, and I said, buddy, I'm on the phone. I need you to go in another room. He's like, who are you talking to? I was like, my best friend. He goes, Molly? I said, no, Dawn, my other best friend. He's like, not Molly?
How dare you? He loves his Aunt Molly. The audacity to call anybody other than Aunt Molly your best friend is a disrespect to his Aunt Molly.
Well, they keep asking when they can go back.
They're always welcome back. Always. I love my boys.
I know you do. So, you want to talk about this week?
Yes. Okay. So, gang, we hit a speed bump.
We hit a DNF, guys, and we actually did DNF it.
We both DNF'd this book. I made it to, I don't know, I don't have the audiobook pulled up, but I barely made it to like chapter 10.
I think that's about where I quit too.
I just, the narration was a struggle for me. It was, but we didn't.
I was reading it and I was just like, oh my gosh, this book is.
We didn't want to lose Alice Oseman. Is that right?
Alice Oseman.
We didn't want to lose her because her writing.
To keep doing LGBTQ pride books.
So we've decided to do Heartstoppers. April came up with the greatest idea. So, I actually wrote a little thing. We were struggling.
I've actually already read it before, which is one of the reasons why I suggested it.
Oh my God. I am so glad you did. Boy, am I glad you did. First and foremost, we didn't have these in the house, which is a surprise because...
I thought you did because when I suggested it, when I read it, I told you to buy it for the girls.
And I just haven't. And I hadn't.
Yeah.
But they're glad we did because all three of us blew through these in the last 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
All three of us just, we're starting the series together. We got to order book 5. Like, it's a thing now in the house.
I pre-ordered book 5 already.
It's a thing now in the house. Would you like a synopsis?
Always.
Nick and Charlie are in years 11 and 10 and are paired up in class for a project. Charlie is openly gay at their all-boys school and has been dealing with bullying ever since. Nick is a rugby lad who is trying to figure life out. The closer the boys get, the more Nick realizes he may not be totally straight. In this currently 4 graphic novel series, we read the boys dealing with coming out. They get to go on a school trip to Paris. Mm-hmm. They go on summer break, and we deal with mental illness. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to unpack. And sexual assault. So yes, there is that. There is self-harm in here. There is eating disorders. Mm-hmm. There is depression. So there's a lot of trigger warnings this episode, gang. We're probably going to talk about them. Yes. But let's jump into the Heartstopper series because it's so good and we need to discuss it.
And by the way, this series, they are graphic novels and they are not named a different thing each book. It's just Heartstopper Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4. So.
To start off, I have a single complaint. Look at that. 1, face. 1, face.
Well, you know what's funny? Mine has the face.
You know what? Fuck you, Amazon.
Mine all have a face.
Fuck you, Amazon. That's Amazon.
I mean,
that is after they left my books in the bloody rain. After they left my fucking books in the rain.
And they're all the same height. And look how well they line up and so pretty. And the colors are all coordinated. And this is what we want from book series.
Not this.
This is what we want.
Look at this shit. Look at this shit!
Okay, well, yours are also wet. So.
They were wet. Look at this page. Where's number 3? 3's peeling. Amazon gave me these for free because my delivery driver left them in the fucking rain in one of the paper packages.
Unacceptable.
Rude.
Unacceptable.
No respectfully fuck yous. Just a fuck you.
A disrespectfully fuck you.
I hope you feel disrespected, Amazon. I hope you feel disrespected. Okay. First question.
Let's talk about the books.
Sure. After we've disrespected
before
Amazon.
We do though, I want to share something. So the reason that I read these books is we've talked about this a few times that I worked at a school last year. I worked at a middle school, right? This was like the number 1 requested series in my middle school. I didn't have them. Graphic novels are always big draws, but I didn't have them. And knowing that they were about a relationship and that they were graphic novels and knowing that my population is 12-year-olds to 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
I made the decision to read them myself before I bought them. Because what I don't want, and I want to be clear on this, it does not matter that it's 2 boys. I don't care the gender of the kids. If they're having sex in the book, it does not belong in the middle school.
No.
They do not need sex in their books at middle school. So I wanted
to... give your middle schooler is on you, though. Like,
right.
Your choices in your home.
Please give this to kids to read. Like, it's really good.
Fucking middle schoolers love this shit. Yeah. But it's not the school to give it to them. It's on me.
As the school librarian, I have a responsibility to choose content that's appropriate for the age of the students that I have there. And this series, so I wasn't sure. So I read it and I was like, immediately buy. Yeah. So if you're looking for them to bang, I mean, it hasn't happened yet.
That's not going to happen in these books. This is not.
I don't know. It might happen in book 5. They do talk about sex a lot, but
I mean, yeah, but it's not.
They
more
don't
of a.
They have a lot of really great discussions about why they're not ready for that to be a part
of
it.
Right. I mean, and that's real life, right?
Right.
Kids don't just freaking screw. That's not how it works. They slowly fall in love. That's how puppy love works. We slowly work into it. We slowly fall in love. I actually
really appreciated that they had those conversations as well because you and I both watched the show Glee. And when
those kids banged a lot.
Oh, they did. But when Kurt finally came out to his dad and his dad was really accepting about it. But then when his dad met Blaine, And Blaine was staying over, and Kurt was like, he's just my friend. And his dad was like, I don't know about this. And he goes, like, Blaine approaches his dad and he's like, look, you need to tell him give him information about sex, because when it's two boys, it's all hormones. There's no backpedaling. You need to tell him there's no softness. There's no pulling back.
Well, there's no girl to draw that back, you know?
Right. So what I liked is that they had those conversations, that they were being honest with each other, because that's what it's like to be in high school and to be in a relationship. You have to have those conversations. That's what it should be like in any relationship, no matter what your age is.
Consent that is the word of Pride Month here at Book Besties. Mm-hmm. Consent. Mm-hmm. Consent, children.
Oh,
consent.
But it's not just Pride Month that we're talking about. I'm reading this for Nurse Katie and I doing Smut Girl Summer. And this book needs to talk about consent too.
Oh, shit.
Well, the couple is talking. I don't want to tell you because I want you to read it.
Got you. Well, I'll dive into Smut Girl Summer after, like,
it might be a my life together at some point.
Nice.
Oh, we'd love it if you join us for Smut Girl Summer.
That would be fun. I'm listening to the second Dreamland Billionaires right now.
Oh, me too. And I can hear her breathing when she takes breath.
Her asthma? Yes.
No.
The author, the narrator? Yes. Like her exhales and shit.
And she does like, and it's like, okay, take a drink.
Tom does better than that. Tom does better editing than that.
Take a drink of water.
Yeah. I don't need to hear your...
Sorry. Molly.
I don't need to hear your mouth sounds.
Because we haven't said this in a couple episodes. It's now 12 minutes in and we haven't fucking done the book. Except I guess we sort of have. But let's ask questions. It's the last episode of season 4. Like, we need to get on our shit.
I mean, technically, you got one more, but that's not...
That's just me recording an intro. We'll take 5 minutes.
Doesn't count. Got it. Moving on. Okay, so we really haven't done graphic novels here on Book Besties.
So we did one graphic novel the first season during Banned Books Month.
Oh, right.
Drama by Raina.
We did Drama. That's right.
But
I forgot about Drama.
But we only did a really short part of the episode about that. And the rest was about like how books are banned and things like that.
Right.
So yeah, we haven't
really.
And I wouldn't say a graphic novel would normally work for us because they're shorter, but
this series works so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you think? Should we keep mixing them in? Okay. Yeah, you put Drama in there for me for reference. Thank you. I appreciate you getting my back.
We can link the episode below in the description.
Which we will put it in the doodly-doos. But this is the first time we've really covered something like this. Do you think we could do it again? Do you think it would work?
I think if we do a series or we choose like a longer graphic novel that has more meat and potatoes to it. So like you have
I was thinking something like Lore of Olympus.
Oh yeah, I think we could do that.
Like that is more adult based, right? So I was thinking about grabbing something like that in the future.
Well, there are graphic novels. I mean, Neil Gaiman has a graphic novel,
right?
The Sandman series.
Yes.
So, I mean, we could definitely do that, but I don't particularly like graphic novels.
Right. I liked this, but I have to be in the right headspace for graphic novels, right? Mm-hmm. And this is cute, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason I really enjoyed this was the cutesiness of it, the lightness of it, the joy of the early romance.
So I think graphic novels are actually really good for people like you that have ADHD, neurodivergent. James absolutely loves graphic novels. They're like his go-to. That's his choice.
Right.
And what's great about them is there's so much content on one page that your eye can jump around and you can get the story that way. That's not how I read. And I would say I read at a normal pace, but I
skim read. So this is perfect.
I read it probably at a normal pace compared to other people, but like average pace. But my brain doesn't like it. I don't like all the skipping around on the page. And I'm like, did I miss something? I feel like I have to turn. So there were a few times I had to turn back a page to make sure I got the whole content.
This is,
so if we do decide to do it again, I need to make sure I'm ready.
This was these are good because like me, the dyslexia, the ADHD, it's great for, I can read this for 30 minutes and it'll hold my whole focus before I peter off, because it's going to happen. My brain is going to wander at some point.
Yeah.
And like this one, I made it through the whole one. The rest of these thick motherfuckers, I had to take breaks, right? But it's not bad.
I mean, I can read one of them in an hour. And the first time I read the series, that is how I read them, because I was mostly just looking to see what the content was so I could buy them from my middle school. When I read them this time, I spent more time on them.
Yeah.
So it did take me a couple of days to read through both of them. But I really enjoyed the series as a whole more this time. So I'm glad I did that, because when I read the series for the first time, the third and the fourth book, I was just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
But the first two, I was like, oh, this is so amazing. So and every time Charlie says, why are we like this? I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's us, though. That's like, why are we like this?
I say that to Tom, too. I'm like, why are we like this?
I say it all the time. Why am I like this?
Why are you the way that you are?
Why am I this way? Okay. So we stopped her other book because of the struggle of her writing. But we jumped into the graphic novels, no problem.
Yeah.
Do you think this is, or do you think it's her writing is better in this format? Do you think her writing doesn't transition well to novel? What do you think it was for you and me? I'm not saying in general. What do you think it made for us that made that struggle?
So I feel like that's a really tough question, because I did a little bit of research on Alice Oseman, and her first book, and it does say this in her little bio, author's bio in here, that her first book, actually it doesn't. Her first book, which was called, I think, Solitaire, was actually published when she was 19. She wrote it when she was in high school. Dang. So she had the novels before she had the graphic novels.
Interesting.
And I think that Loveless was her most recent of the novels, but I could be wrong about that. And so I'm not sure what it was for me to have the disconnect, because I do think that she's a very popular author for teens.
Right.
But maybe the problem was because I read this first. I don't know, because you didn't have that problem. You hadn't read.
No,
first, so I don't know. That's a hard one for me to answer, because I'm not sure.
I see. Okay, so for me, the writing's different, and I don't mean that in a negative way or a positive way. Piper loved Loveless. Loved it. She blew through that book. Couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
I couldn't relate to the main character. And that was the problem for me.
And I'm not sure if my issue with it was really that I don't understand that character.
Right.
There was a lot going on there and a lot to unpack very quickly. And I was really struggling, because I was doing a lot of research, because that book is about an asexual woman who is, it starts at the end of her senior year and goes into her college experience, first year of college. And I didn't know if what I was not understanding was the sexual orientation of asexual. So I did a lot of research, and then I just felt like the character didn't actually line up with the research I was doing.
Right.
And not that you have to fit some sort of mold just because that's how you what you call yourself. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to ask questions to a person.
Right.
So someone at work saw me reading the book, and that person identifies as asexual.
Okay.
And that person answered a lot of my questions, and I'm very thankful that person.
That's wonderful.
I think that they just wanted me to understand. But then I felt like the character still didn't match up. And so
that makes sense.
To me, everything I was researching said being asexual was not about not having sexual urges. It was not about not ever having them. And it was not being repulsed by people. But to me, in that book, the character was repulsed by the idea of sex.
Right.
As opposed to just didn't not need it or want it necessarily.
Right.
You know?
See, for me, the character was so obsessed with it. It didn't match up with what I understood as that sexual orientation. So me trying to adjust my expectations was hard. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I don't know.
And honestly, it read to me like a really bad I've got to lose my virginity story.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get on board.
It felt like a shitty C-level 90s teen rom.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's what I thought too. Except there was a lot of angst in it.
A lot of angst. So her books
this was not like that.
No, this isn't.
Heartstopper was not like that.
And this could be age. I don't know. So here they are in order. Solitary came out in 14. Nick and Charlie came out in 15.
Okay.
This Winter was 15. Nick and Charlie and The Winter are both novellas. Radio Silence came out in 2016. That is a novel. I Was Born This Way came out in 18. That's a novel. Then Heartstoppers 1, 2, 3 came out in 2019, 2019, and 2020. Loveless was 2020, and then Heartstoppers 4 was 2021.
Okay, but you're giving us the publication dates because this graphic novel series actually started as a webtoon.
Right.
And I think the webtoon actually came
first.
I could be misremembering, but I think that actually came before the novella.
I read somewhere that it started as a novel. It didn't work out. So she started it as a webcomic, and that's how it became a regular comic. Does that make sense?
I don't know where the novella fell into it. But
yeah,
I like Nick and Charlie a lot. And so I think I may try to read the novella, even though I really didn't like the novel that we read. I think I might try.
How about the third question?
Are we only on the third question?
Speaking of, this went from novel to webcomic to graphic novel. You gotta appreciate that she kept at it. Do you think that this would have worked as a novel?
So
maybe
my biggest complaint of this whole series, is this in the fourth book. She basically starts going through their journals just with pictures. And to me, that was her trying to reconcile the difference between this being a novel and a.
I liked how she used that as like last time on Glee. Yeah, like I like that. I like when she used it in the beginning.
Pretty Little Liars.
Right. Right. I like it. I like it as a previously on Scandal. You know what I mean? Like, give me that. I'm good with that. But I don't need it throughout the book.
No. And it was like a huge chunk of the fourth book was
right. And I'm wondering if because of how hard the fourth book was to tell and the way she was telling it, she was struggling on figuring out how to get our characters to be able to communicate via this way. And so the novel or the journaling was the easiest.
And I think it was easier than trying to draw scenes in a mental hospital.
Yeah, because that's rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, where are we? Book 1. We're on question 4. Okay, book 1. In book 1, the boys meet and slowly start to realize they like each other way more than just friends. We've read a couple of different coming out stories here on Pod, and we read one just, last week about coming out non-binary, and the week before we read one about a bi girl coming out, or queer girl coming out. Do you think Nick's story is any different?
So what I really like about Nick's story is that he didn't go through some deep, overwhelming, I feel like I want to kill myself. This isn't normal. Why do I feel this way? I can't feel this way. He didn't go through a big crisis. He was like, this is weird. I have only ever liked girls. And now I sort of think I might want to kiss this boy. What does that mean?
Right.
Well, he started doing some research on his own. He was Googling. And yes, that is definitely one way you could do it. But you can also visit your local library. And a lot of libraries have tough stuff, posters hanging in their library that tell you where you can find this information that is factual and researched really well. And will also give you details about if you are a person that is engaging in a homosexual or queer relationship, what your parts might do together. So
right.
just
there's a lot of informationals out there.
There's more information than porn. That's all I'm saying. So I
We're
like
here to help. We're here to help.
Here to help. I liked that Nick didn't shy away from it, that he didn't like this also happened in Glee. You had the one football player who was like gay and he knew it and he didn't want to be, so he, number one, tried to kill himself. He also bullied a bunch of people
who were also gay because, you know, let's make them feel like shit because I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Valid.
Nick didn't do that. He was a rugby lad, so that could have totally been the story. So the story could have been Nick bullying Charlie, making him feel like shit because he didn't feel good about himself. And instead, he was just kind of like, I like this guy. This is weird.
That feels more realistic to me, right? Coming to realization.
The high school that I grew up in, the story of Karofsky bullying somebody and then coming out later is more realistic than what I grew up in. I don't know that today that this story isn't more real.
Right.
Because people are a little more accepting now, thank God.
For me as an adult doing it the way I did, it was a gradual, like, walking into warm water kind of thing. It wasn't a ta-da! It's just, oh, I'm here. Welcome to the party kind of thing. I don't know. Continuing on in book 1, we end this graphic novel with the boys kissing and Nick running off. What a great cliffhanger that book was. Oh, I loved it. Did you like how she ended this first book?
I did, but I felt so bad for Charlie here because you don't have this in your
Charlie.
So I want to talk about it.
Okay.
The book starts with him making out with a kid named Ben.
Yeah.
Who goes to a school and is not out. In fact, Ben has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But
Ben's either in the closet or using Charlie in some way, shape, or form.
Right. So when Charlie is outed, like he had only told 2 people and it got around the whole school. When he's outed, Ben basically approaches him and kisses him. He doesn't ask, he just does it. And then
because he's gay. I mean, isn't that what he wants? Is boys to kiss him?
Right. And then when they continue to meet up, he basically, whenever he wants to kiss Charlie, he tells him, he texts him and he's like, meet me at the music building at this time. And like, he doesn't give Charlie a say in their relationship. And he's awful to him.
It's gross.
And so that is the only experience that Charlie has. That's the only experience he has, is having a guy who doesn't want to admit that he's gay force himself on him.
That's sexual assault, by the way, gang.
It is sexual assault.
If a boy or a girl is kissing you and you don't want to kiss them, that's assault.
Yeah. And so when Nick, he said he wanted to kiss Charlie, but then he immediately left. Like, I could feel scared at that point. I could feel that, oh gosh, another one did it.
I fucked up.
Another guy is going to be using me.
Yeah. With Nick, I felt his fear. Nick, that bi panic is real. Like, realizing the thing you've told yourself your whole life. I am a straight arrow. I'm a straight arrow. I'm a straight arrow. I go in the quiver. I get shot. I hit the target. That's it. But now my arrow's being used to kill a deer. Not what I was told I was going to be, right? Like, learning how to adjust your expectations of yourself is hard.
Yeah.
Is really hard. And coming to terms with it is hard.
Well, and then you have the other side of that where, well, this might actually happen in book 2. Yeah, after Nick comes out to his mom and then his brother finds out. And
his brother's trash.
His brother is such an asshole. And his brother's like, he's not even brave enough to admit he's really gay. He's just lying and saying he's bi. And that has been a thing. People have said that for years, right? You just aren't brave enough to really admit it. You can't.
My favorite one is, you're selfish. You can't pick a side.
Right.
Fuck you, man.
I'm rewatching New Girl right now, and I'm in the season where Jess was on jury trial, which was when Zoe J. Chanel was out for a baby.
Pregnant? Yeah.
And they have their Megyn Kelly comes in and plays the extra roommate at that time. and Nick's like totally head over heels for her, and she's bisexual, and he's like, I can't compete with that. That's men and women. That's all the people. That's all the
people. I fucking love Nick. I love Nick so much. Nick Miller is one of my favorite characters. Yes. Anytime like I'm feeling really sad, I will pull up the memory of him with headphones on, and he's singing Beyonce, and he's like, surfboard. It's just ridiculous. Nick Miller should not like Beyonce, but he loves her.
Nick Miller.
Anyways, book 2, question 6.
Book 2.
Book 2 really focuses on the boys getting together and how they keep their relationship, 1, hidden, and 2, how they eventually try to come out or think about coming out. But did you like that this was the focus of this book? Yeah, them hiding their relationship?
This is actually my favorite book in the series.
It's my girl's favorite too.
I gave this one 5 stars. I gave the first one 4 stars. And I think 3 and 4 I also gave 4 stars. So this was my favorite one. I really enjoyed it. I thought the early part of their relationship was so cute.
So sweet.
They were really sweet with each other. And
they're really into each other. Yeah. It's so adorable.
It's very cute. And I like when Charlie comes out to his dad about dating Nick. And he's already out to his parents, but his dad's like, he can't sleep over. He's
like, I know, Dad.
Charlie is like immediately embarrassed. And I love how in the books when they blush, like the lines on their face. And so he's immediately blushing like, and then his mom accuses them of having sex. And he's like, we're not.
Yeah, his mom just got, like, his mom's so intense, man.
His mom 100% needs therapy herself.
Word. Okay, so I don't have it in here, but this is a great book to explain this. I love the use of color in here because they only use greens, whites, blacks, and I'm going to show this real quick. But, like right here, there's leaves.
Yeah.
But there are times where there's flowers or shattering, and they use...
Here's blushing right here.
Yes, the transition stuff in here is so good.
Yeah.
Is so good, and I'm trying to find one that I really loved.
And when they're doing, like, flashbacks...
Here's a good one, the fight. Here's a good one. When he gets in a fight with his friend, and it's all shattered glass. It's so good. It's not just that the writing is good. The artwork is good. It's talent.
Is really good. Yeah, it's really just all around very good. I like it a lot. I also want to say, and this isn't something that I noticed the first time, and I know we're not to the 3rd and 4th book yet, but we do find out that Charlie is anorexic.
Yes.
And
see, like, that's beautiful. And that's like beautiful.
That is really beautiful. And when we find out, this is my favorite still in all 4 books right here.
Yes. It's so good.
Then like when they're kissing. But when we find out that Charlie is anorexic, I fucking forgot what I was going to say.
When we find out Charlie's anorexic, we're not in that book yet. Maybe it'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
I just remembered.
Okay.
The shape of his face changes throughout the series.
Yes.
And that is something I didn't notice.
He kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
At the hospital, he looks like he has
his face fills out again. Yes. That was really clever. That was so meticulous and very methodical. I'm going to have to bring that up to the girls because I bet they didn't notice.
And you know what, though? Most times graphic novels don't do that, right? The characters do not really change.
They stay the same. But these guys change. Their hair gets cut. Their clothes change. Their socks change. The hair on their legs are different. Like, you can see the difference.
Effort that she put into it. It was really impressive.
It's beautiful, Alice. It is beautiful. We appreciate it. Question 7. Also in book 2, Nick comes out as bi to his mom, and he slowly starts to tell others. To me, this felt realistic. What about you? Did this feel realistic, like a realistic coming out story to you?
I love when he comes out to his mom.
That page is so pretty.
What is her name? Coleman is her last name.
I'll pull it up. It's in the back.
Where
are the...
Olivia Colman. That's who
Olivia?
So Olivia Colman plays Nick's mom in the series.
Oh.
And, She's so perfect with that scene
I
because
bet.
he says, it's called bisexual. Have you heard of that? And in the book, she's like laughing and she's like, yes, I've heard of it.
Heard it.
I love the way Olivia Colman plays that scene. I can't wait for you to watch it because she's just like, yes, Nick, of course, I know what bisexual is.
What? What's that? I've never heard of that before.
He didn't even know what it was, right? He knew you can either like boys,
but he was also a kid,
or you can like girls and you're straight.
Right. But he was a kid, you know? He was a kid. He doesn't have the access to that stuff. In the third book, we go to Paris with the boys and they bond with their friends and they build this little queer group and they have all this freedom. How did you like this storyline compared to the other two in the first two books?
I feel like it diverted away from what I like about this series, which is the focus being on Nick and Charlie. So I liked that we built a bigger world. And okay, I have no issue with Elle and Tao. Like, I thought that was cute that they get together. Mm-hmm. But that's not what this series is about. So, like, they need their own series.
Right.
I want more Nick and Charlie. And Elle and Tao.
I know. It's just...
Also, when they're on the bus and they're like, oh my gosh, you guys really kissed. And they're like talking like that. I'm like, do boys do that? I know we do, but do boys do that?
I guess gay ones do.
I guess bi ones. Oh, and by the way, in the series, the I don't know what pronouns the actor uses who plays Elle. But that person, I'm gonna just use it.
Them. Okay.
They are the new companion on Doctor Who.
I love it. I love it. Yay. Yeah. Book 4 focuses on mental health struggle, the fact Charlie that faces Charlie as they go back to school, and how Nick deals with it. Most of this book is from his POV while Charlie gets treatment. What are your thoughts? So you were talking about scenes. This is my favorite cutscene. It's from the middle of this book. Mm-hmm. And it's a moment between Charlie and his mom. Yeah. But also know that sometimes people need more than just one person can give. That's love, darling.
I almost texted that to you and Katie, by the way.
This scene is so beautiful.
So I love that too. I love how supportive his mom is because I feel like she's doing a better job than I think I would as the mom. I think I'd be like, this is a lot of drama for you. Maybe you go find a different boyfriend.
Like, right. Like, you don't need this in your life. Right.
You were so young. Maybe this isn't the path. Right. Know? Because, I mean, this is the first relationship that we know that Nick's ever had. He never had a girlfriend before.
No.
He kissed
a girl in 8th grade who was a lesbian.
But he didn't know that. And she didn't either. So he never has had a relationship at all. And so this is a lot for your first relationship. And for him to stick by, even with them saying they love each other, it's high school. Like, I wouldn't stick around. Like, that's a lot. That's
I've watched...
the commitment you make when you married someone.
I had a boyfriend drop me in high school because I would dress too weird. Yeah. Like, boys, like, they do it for stupid reasons. So... like, dumping a guy over being too problematic would be definitely a thing that happens.
And this is my other for this book. Charlie has he has all the
OCD. Trauma. He has PTSD. He has anorexia. He has panic disorder. He has anxiety. He just has everything. And I mean, that happens. That happens a lot. I'm not saying that doesn't happen a lot, but... let's just make him the face of one mental illness, please. Not all of them.
I just was like, he has all the trauma. Like, maybe we could share the trauma. The only trauma he doesn't seem to have is an abusive family, which we get from another character. One of the girls has... whose
moms, her parents...
it's an abusive family.
Verbally, because they're not supportive of her sexuality. Mm-hmm. In this book, these books have several extra things. Mm-hmm. There's a playlist in book 1. In the back, we get IDs and rosters. There's extra storylines and sub-storylines. And we get fake social media. We get in the book 4, we get at the end, we get how the teachers started dating. It's so cute. What did you think of all this? Did you have anything that was like your favorite?
I liked the Elle and Tao one, that the little sub comic, that mini comic. I thought that was more appropriate than us diverting from the story of Nick and Charlie to get that story in the middle of it.
Yeah, I didn't like the teachers.
I'm not going to say that there isn't we know that there is a minority population of LGBTQ people. Mm-hmm. Everybody in these books is gay. Like, everybody. Like, the teachers are gay too.
I don't know. Like,
the teachers are like hooking up on the Paris trip. Like, what the hell?
At Piper's school, half the kids took same-sex partners to the dance. Like, Piper's friend, I'm not going to say names, but one of Piper's friends was meeting her date there, and they're like undefined, but they went as a couple. Several of the parents I was speaking to, their daughters were taking female partners as companions. Like, it wasn't just friends going together. Like, these kids are testing the waters real early. I kind of love that they're just not sticking to the A and B mold. I love that they're just like, rainbow, yay, water. Does that make you uncomfortable?
I feel like my thoughts on this won't be welcomed in this space.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not because of you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's okay.
I'm sorry. I never want you not to feel unwelcomed.
By you?
Yeah.
Of course. Publicly on the pod, this is not an appropriate comment.
Gotcha. I will say I did have, so did you have any favorite scenes? I text you my favorite scene because I plan on using this line on my girls, which I
laugh out loud when I read that.
I go, you're doing gay shit? Continue on. I love that. Carry on. Keep doing the gay shit. Any characters that you're a favorite? Like, anybody, like...
I'm obsessed with Nick's dog. Is that...
I know. Too.
Little puppy. Oh my gosh.
There is a TV show we have been talking about. I haven't watched it. We're watching it with the girls.
I have watched it, the first season, and the second season I think comes out this summer.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. Cast looked perfect to me. Did you have anything?
I love the way that the actors portray the characters. I think that the series is really close to the books and they don't change much, so that's really great. The actor who plays Nick is just not big enough to me. Like, I need him to be
He was a big kid. Yeah, in my mind, he was much bigger, yes.
But does he look like Nick? 100%.
Yes, but it was more like Finnick Odair, I was thinking size, right? Like this hulking blonde thing.
Yeah. And I also want to say, unfortunately, due to internet bullying, the actor who played Nick was outed as bisexual himself. And I just think that is just awful.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
You people are disgusting. We don't do that shit.
For that, and that's just really unfair. Why do you care about an actor's sexuality anyway?
They're children.
What does it matter to you? What does it matter to you?
Why does their private life matter to you?
No, it doesn't. It's not.
Fucking gross. Final thoughts, Goodreads ratings.
I gave the second one a 5 and all the rest a 4. I will 100% keep up with this series. I've already pre-ordered the last book or the next book. I don't know how many she's going to do. I will be watching the TV show when the first episode, when you start watching it, you'll see those leaves flutter.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they brought them into the show. It's very cute.
I love that.
So I'm glad
I love that.
I'm glad
Me too.
The other book.
So, before we talk about end of season, we should talk about end of season, I guess.
Yeah. So, today is the last episode we're filming together.
For a little bit, guys.
Next week, there will be a replay of the episode with Nicole Sodoma, who is the author of Please Don't Say You're Sorry. And I interviewed her before we went to the Annapolis Book Festival. And the episode was only released as a video on YouTube. And so now it will be an MP3, so you can actually stream it wherever you're listening to the podcast.
Yay!
And I have a new intro because I have some new exciting information that her publicist shared with me. So
that's so exciting. Yeah. It's really exciting. It's really exciting. I'm excited for you to share it with everybody because it's big.
Yeah. And it's really the bonus episode for this season, so technically season 4 is over, but now we have to talk about season
5. Guys, we're tired.
Yeah.
Like, you guys hear us say it all the time, and we joke about it, but we've been reading nonstop a book a week for 2 years for you guys.
And like when we say
we
this,
love doing this for you guys. Yeah,
when we say this, we don't want you all to be like, oh gosh,
they're so bitchy.
Why are they so whiny? All this stuff, because that's not what we're trying to do. But in the summers, given the fact that I work in a public library, I am so incredibly busy.
Summer reading is the busiest season.
Busy. And
we're both burnt out by July.
Yeah.
Every year.
And we always take 2 weeks off between June and July launching our next season. But I have requested longer from Molly, and Molly
I need longer too
as well. So what we've decided is we're going to come back with season 5 in September.
Yes. But here's the deal, gang. We are not going away. We're still going to be on your socials. We're still going to be posting on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Yes. We will maybe do an episode here or there. We'll see if we have time. But we are not making promises, gang. Yeah. We
will not have like the real format that you've gotten used to. But if you are following us on Instagram or TikTok, you may see us drop in for lives. Will be.
I mean, April is doing Smutty Girl Summer with Nurse Katie. Yeah, you are going to see Smutty Girl Summer.
I'll be posting stuff where Nurse Katie is sharing pictures and reviews for us to post on our social media. And so we started with Song of Solomon. Nope, that's from the Bible. Song of Achilles.
Close.
Not the same at all. And now we're reading Archer's Voice, and so we welcome suggestions. We have a spreadsheet going, but if you have a suggestion, we could definitely slide that in. So we're not going anywhere, and we're going to do shorter seasons now, so we can take a break
because we deserve it, man. You guys love us, our content,
and frankly, our listeners deserve it too. Because when we get tired, we don't put out good content.
No.
We just don't.
You love us, right? You want us to be happy.
So it also will give all of you a time to catch up.
Seriously, bitches.
Because what seems to be happening, which is great, we totally welcome this, but people are listening to books that they've already read. They've listened to episodes about books they've already read. So now you can explore more episodes as you read and catch up on the podcast.
And you can email us and tell us what you want us to read.
Yes.
At bookbestiespod@gmail.com.
We have gotten some email recommendations and we've put those on the pod. We have some DMs that have come through on Instagram. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite books that we did this season, which was the first book of the season, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, that was a fan suggestion.
And last season was a fan suggestion for last season's favorite, which was Cerulean Sea. Leslie.
That might be my favorite book that was new to me that we've read on the pod. It was so good.
Good job, Leslie.
It was so good. House on the Cerulean Sea. So
all right, besties.
We will be taking a break.
And we need it. Yeah. And we've earned it. So, besties, we love you. We'll be back. We'll see you guys in September.
Sounds good.
I love you, best friends.
We have some cool things lined up for the fall, too.
We do.
Yep. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on Book Besties. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The views discussed here are those of Molly and April and not those of anyone else. Today's books was the Heartstopper Series by Alice Oseman. Your Book Besties are Molly Biggs and April Watkins. Editing by Thomas Watkins, and music is Sleep Sweetly by Brigida. Don't forget to follow the Book Besties on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please email us at bookbestiespod@gmail.com or visit our website, bookbestiespodcast.com. Until next time, besties, get lost in your favorite book.